So, is Predator Killer of Killers a good move for the franchise? I think so. Overall, the movie focuses on the Predator's main drive to find the best competition and fight them for their warrior culture demands it, right? These motherfuckers live and breathe for the hunt, and we see that throughout the entire movie, but especially in the stories of three people who encountered a predator and live to tell about it, only to be put in cryo and fight to the death later. We have the Viking, the ninja, and the World War II pilot vet. Personally, I'm going to say this right now. The Viking fight was gruesome, bloody, choreographed well. I just did not like how much the fight was going in Ursa's way. Ursa is the Viking lady that we go ahead and have one of the stories about. To be fair to Ursa, the Predator here seems to be new. No real armor, only relying on his stealth tech, the repulsor cannon, and mainly like his strength. And, you know, he was outsmarted at every opportunity by Ursa, who was on her home field advantage, right? Who had home field advantage. I felt like the fight could have been better, but especially with the action at that point already being pretty fucking dope, I felt like there wasn't much interesting give and take, right? Because the cannon really limited the actual combat Ursa could do, like face to face. But the overall fight was still, you know, pretty fucking good. I personally preferred the fight with Kenji and Kiyoshi versus their own Predator. Their story was much more interesting than Ursa's. Not like hers wasn't fucked up and not interesting at all. Having her dad, having to kill her dad and avenging him, and with her son killing the bastard who killed her dad, and her going on this path in her life to avenge her dad and having her son kill the dude was pretty cool. It was pretty nice until, you know, they met with the Predator afterwards, who I guess was hunting them all, who was hunting like this specific group, but I guess Ursa's group came in and fucked them up first. I don't know. I guess he got mad that they stole his kill. I don't know. Like, it would have been nice if they fought together. The son, who was still inexperienced, got knocked out, and Ursa then finishes the fight, who later gets captured by the Predators while tending to her son. Would have been really interesting to see her and her son get taken by the Predators after killing the one, and we see Ursa and her team fight against three other humans, and we see her son, who has grown up a good bit in the arena, mentored by a gladiator fighter and some other warrior in history. That could have been fucking neat too. But her story ends with her son dying, her entire crew dying, and the big thing about her story is avenging. But she has no happy ending for this throwaway line about not avenging her to people who don't know what the fuck she said, which is weird as fuck that they implemented this for some reason, right? Like there's a clear language barrier here, and, you know, the people who she wanted to express not to save her, you know, they were gonna leave regardless, right? Who the fuck cares? She did, like, the message was put across that she was going to sacrifice herself to do this, but her saying don't avenge her is, you know, kind of out of place, because no one knows what the fuck she said, right? But, you know, it's maybe the message got across, who knows, right? I just think they could have done more with Ursa's story, because she's pretty fucking cool. She's badass. Kenji and Kiyoshi's story, however, is pretty fucking baller for me, as it's a brotherhood that was shattered by their dad's clear intention to put a wedge between them by using the heir seat to the seats to be the next heir, the next lord, or whatever the fuck, right? Against each other, which actually did. Kiyoshi took advantage of the much harder working Kenji, refusing the fight because he believed their brotherhood was above, like, the actual seat to be heir. And Kiyoshi just said, I want that though. And he took it, and Kenji got mad, and he left. And somehow he became a ninja. He got trained to be a ninja, infiltrated the palace, and, you know, he gets found out, he gets caught, and he fights his way towards his brother. All this while the Predator was watching him the entire time, which was pretty fucking cool to see him stalking him. It would have been better if we saw him fighting all these guys and stuff like that through the Predator's eyes, like you see, like, you know, the perspective of the Predator stalking him for a majority of Kenji's, like, assaults on the palace, I guess, trying to get to his brother. And of course, with the alarms going on, his brother is trying to put on his armor. And of course, Kenji comes in, he defeats the guys and fights his brother. And the Predator is watching this too. And presumably, when Kenji kills his brother, the Predator interrupts and starts trying to fight Kenji because he's a prime steak right now. He wants that ass, right? He wants to fuck him up. He's prime hunting material. And Kenji would try to escape the Predator, slowly learning how the Predator kills and his gadgets and stuff by seeing the Predator take down all the other poor guards just walking in, running in, wondering what the fuck is going on. And Kenji would outsmart him in more believable ways than how they did with Ursa. And, because the Predator doesn't know his tricks, he's a ninja, and he doesn't know how to truly counter it. It all comes to a head, though, when Kiyoshi attacks Kenji, who survives his fall and actually fell into like the nearby moat or lake or whatever, right? And the brothers would go ahead and fight the Predator together. And they would reconcile. But Kiyoshi, who suffered a massive injury, dies. Then at some point, Kenji gets captured. I think it would have been cool if they showed us how they got captured and them fighting back, but whatever, I guess. Then we get the story of Torres, a pilot who always loved the idea of being a pilot, who doesn't know shit about being a mechanic. And even with a mechanic dad, he just doesn't get the feel for it. Then he gets drafted and sees, and he seems to have made a name for himself for being a pilot, but he's a pilot in name and he can't fix his own plane. So like, I guess like the leader of the ace squad, I guess, kept him like, in the bay to just figure out how to fix his own fucking plane. Torres went and discovered that a team that came back was attacked by a Predator. He didn't know it was a Predator, but like how their ships came back, not ships, how their planes came back, it was all fucked up. And then he went ahead and investigated it and trying to figure out what the fuck's going on in the air. Spoiler alert, it's a fucking Predator, of course. The motherfucker is point blank cheating with his busted ship, destroying World War II planes. Keep in mind, these planes are just being held up by like bolts and glue and grease and all types of like shit that you don't want your plane to be made out of, right? But they did it, right? They fucking did it. And this fucking Predator is fucking cheating. Like he's just destroying World War II planes back to back, right? Like, bro, come on. You're like, what the fuck? So Torres figured out that there's a bigger threat out there than the Axis powers out there, and he fixes his plane to go out there. He does, go ahead and get out there at some point, and then he warns them. They get fucking shit on, right? They get fucking destroyed. Torres outsmarts the pilot by using what he learned from like the heat tracking and everything to his advantage to help camouflage his ship, do damage, and at some point fly into a war zone, essentially a battlefield, to hopefully do damage on the bigger ship. Ultimately, he just uses his own ship to take down the Predator. Then later on wakes up to being abducted after he comes back home or from the war or whatever, and he meets Ursa and Kenji, and then the Predators bring them to an arena to fight to the death, of course, because that's what they do. And what's funny is that, of course, the Viking was hell bent on doing so like really quickly to try and kill the leader for her son, because she sees the leader as responsible for the death of her son. But eventually they all work together to defeat the monsters they face. Torres gets eaten, but still alive though. And he disabled the exploding neck braces after getting out of the dead monster's throat by using the wrist panel that one of the monsters ate, because it also ate a fucking Predator, because the Predator pushed his luck a little bit too much. After this, they try to steal the chief's ship. They go ahead and try to get past him. They definitely were getting their asses beat by him, but they did put up a good fight. Torres got on his ship and started trying to work his magic when it comes to the ship, while Ursa and Kenji distract him. The movie ends with Ursa sacrificing herself to destroy the hook, the hook shot into the ship to allow Kenji and Torres to get away. She says, "Don't avenge me before being captured." Again, they probably don't know what the fuck she said. That's probably more of a line for us to understand like the cycle of of vengeance is not is being cut here or whatever. I mean, it felt flat for me. I don't know about anybody else. The ending is the predators like wheeling Ursa back into like their facility, and we see the girl from Prey, Naru, is in one of the containers, and that's it. It's not the most craziest world bending story, but we have seen like these stories in full effect, and how cool it is, and we see how the predators are keeping track of the humans and beings out there that have defeated their kind. So that's pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. It's no big fucking secret that they like fighting us. Like, come on, we have so many movies. They even went ahead. I forget the movie's name or what number it was. I think it was just Predators or some shit, where they kidnapped a whole bunch of like former soldiers and people, like people that aren't shit, right? Or like have a past or have experience in warfare, whatever the fuck, right? And had them like took them to a planet to, and they had Samuel Jackson in there as well. I'm forgetting the movie, but they like fighting us point blank. They like that they can fight a race that's technology that's not up there and as advanced as theirs, but still can fuck them up and provide a good challenge, especially after the shit we go through with the goddamn Xenos. I enjoy the movie for what it is. A movie about predators kidnapping entertainment, and that entertainment's just trying to run away and fighting back, really. Each character's story is interesting in its own way. I just think that their stories were made in a way to justify the actions they take in the story later on in the movie. Ursa saying don't avenge her, Kenji wanting to work together, and the whole brothership sort of situation with him, not Kenji, Torres doing the thing that his dad does and works his vehicle magic, right? It's a very clear point that they're trying to make, which is fine. It's not like these characters will truly be important in the bigger plots of the live action movies. Maybe at most be side characters or just mentioned here and there, because if they go ahead and pivot towards like for the Predator movies, for the predators to kidnap aliens, not kidnap aliens, well, aliens to them, of course, I guess, kidnap humans, and of course, like, I guess, I don't know, the colonial marines and the local government, like figuring out like, hey, what the fuck's going on with these freaks up there? What's going on? They seem to be having like a sort of like a lot of them seem to be concentrated in that area. Let's see what's going on there stealthily, of course, and they see that they have been freezing warriors from like warrior humans from, however how long that it took for them to, gather like so many people, and are using them as entertainment to fight to the death and fight them as well, right? So it would be really fucking cool if, like, the government or the colonial marines or whatever, right, tried to intervene and, save them and maybe even recruit them. That could be fucking sick too. But would I have liked like these stories be their own thing? Like, hell yeah, like dealing with a predator during World War II, ancient Japan, or the Viking era. Though these concepts being their own movies could have been really fucking cool. Do I think every story here was at its top potential, told in the best way? No. But it's fine for this movie to show us what the predators think and do with the humans they face and hear about and know about and have killed their kind, right? Would I have liked a Predator movie focusing on different periods in human history like they did with Prey? Duh, right? Like, that would be fucking great. Hell, I'd love to see them face against colonial marines too. If the next movie has the colonial marines show up, like the next animated movie, I guess, show up, or Xenos land on the planet, causing a war between Xenos and Predators, or colonial marines versus Predators with Kenji and Torres using this to sneak in to free all the other humans. That'd be sick too. I think this movie is a great foundation and does something actually interesting with the fucking IP in some time, right? Would I want to see Arnold come out of the ice like fucking Captain America, shooting down Predators and Xenos in the head? Hell fucking yeah. I think it would be so fucking interesting if this movie helped introduce, like, I guess, heroes from the past that would meet the heroes of the future who mainly battle Xenos in the live action animated, in the live action Aliens movies, of course. I'm blanking out for some reason, right? and they sort of like mix them together, or like, they create their own colonial heroes and colonial marine heroes, and have this whole animated aliens versus predator universe like kickstarted. I think that would be fucking sick. I wonder like what's going to be like the status quo for everything, right? Which will probably just be Kenji and Tori just out there in the world, because I don't think their ship can survive in space with a hole in it. Don't know if they know how to get home, no food, no anything. So I guess like the status quo is just going to be Kenji and Tori just surviving on this alien planet, I guess. I think the movie, at the end of the day, created a situation for good storytelling to be told great, I can't speak, to tell great action, great action and impossible stories that are not possible with the events of this movie, right? Because now that we have the potential to have heroes, or not heroes, I guess, warriors from the past, in like, I guess, involve themselves in the future due to being cryogenically frozen for a fucking long time until like the current events that Kenji and Torres are in. It would be really interesting to see the colonial marines and these warriors band together to fight predators and xenos and whatnot, right? It will be pretty interesting, and maybe even recruit them and give the colonial marines an actual boost in manpower with these warriors who can teach them. I can't speak. Teach them a thing or two. I can't fucking speak today, guys. It's fucking weird. I need more water. It's kind of hot here. But overall, for me, the movie was a solid 8. Action, animation, voice acting, and story. Even though, it wasn't exactly the best. The origin stories for Ursa, Kenji, and Torres vary in quality. The movie did great in every other aspect and was legitimately interesting. Predator, Killer of Killers is a great movie. I suggest watching it. It's pretty dope, gory, and fucking nuts with the action. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Well, stay safe and healthy, mentally, emotionally, and physically. See you guys next time. Peace. I need some rest, man. I'm just all over the place today. But have a great day, everybody. I'm going to eat a sandwich or something. See you guys next time. Peace.